Hey internet, welcome back to my channel. Today I have a really big Colourpop haul video for you guys. After I got the mystery box a few months back, I was basically just waiting around until I could find a 30% discount. They tend to run sales quite often, so I didn't think I'd have to wait that long, but it took a while for these products all to get here. I guess maybe because they're in America and Australia and like COVID and stuff like that. But they finally arrived and I'm so excited to try them all. It's a pretty decent haul. So I've only tried about half these products because there's just too many products to use on one face in one go. But hopefully over time I'll get to use more of these. And if they're noteworthy, I'll feature them on my blog, fablesandfashion.com, in some reviews. But if there's anything in particular you want a deeper opinion on, then let me know, because I can't really provide too much thought behind these yet. So I'm going to start with face products, eye products, and then lip products. I'm going to go in that category because there's enough products to actually have categories now. I'm hoping that the camera is okay because I feel like it was too yellow before, but we're going to push on. Especially I feel like white balance is really important for a makeup video when you're looking at like colors and stuff like that. But so the first product I picked up was this foundation, the Hyaluronic Hydrating Foundation. I really like this foundation. I will say, however, it is quite liquidy. It's got good coverage, and one pump is way too much product. Like, I did one pump because that's usually the standard I always go with every liquid foundation, one pump, and I felt like I probably could have only used half a pump. I feel like there was a lot of wastage in the end. Maybe if you want like a super strong coverage, then a full pump would make sense, but because it's so liquidy, I feel like it's just, you're gonna have wastage regardless. So I think half a pump would have been enough, maybe 3/4. Like, I would do a full pump, honestly. But I really love this, so I recommend this. It was full coverage enough that I didn't feel like I needed a concealer, but I picked one up without realizing, but I have one anyways, and I did put a little bit under my eyes. Honestly, I felt like I didn't need this. I didn't feel like it added a ton more coverage for me, but my skin is pretty clear, so maybe that's the reason. I really love this concealer as well. I generally haven't tried many base products from Colourpop. The only base product I tried was their Stick Cream foundation, which is hands down one of my favorite stick cream foundations ever. I only have this tiny little bit left. I've been trying to restock it. Unfortunately, because it always seems to be out of stock. Like, I feel like it's been out of stock for over a year now, like my particular shade. A lot of the other shades are still there. My particular shade has not been in stock for almost a year, so I feel like I'm never going to get a replacement, so I wanted to try some other base products and just see what they were like, and so far I'm pretty impressed. The other base product I picked up was this face press powder, which I also have used today, and I really like how large it is, and you've got like a really big mirror and everything like that. I will say, however, the thing that really annoyed me about this is I think that the pressed powder is probably pressed quite loosely. Let's go with that, because there's so much kickback. Like, there's so much loose powder. I don't know if you can see. I'm going to try and hold this up to the camera and hopefully... Can you guys see how much like powder is all over the place? I don't usually have that problem with other face powders, so I don't know whether it's just been pressed very loosely and that's why there's just so much extra powder flying everywhere. I just feel like it's wasteful. So that kind of bums me out because I feel like it's going to run out really quickly. However, the powder itself is really good, which is like unfortunate because I actually really love this face powder. I could see myself using this much more often, especially in comparison to some of the other face powders I've been using. But because it's so loosely pressed, I feel like I'm going to go through it really quickly. So that is a bit of a downside to it. I don't know if I'd repurchase it again because of that, but it is a really good quality powder. I think if you don't mind repurchasing it multiple times, then maybe it would be great for you. But for me, I don't know. There's so many other options too, right? So the next base product I picked up was this cute little blush. Kind of reminds me of, I can't remember if it was Too Faced of Tarte that came out with like heart blushes, but this is so cute. It's a little bit more like puffy, like larger than the heart blushes they came out with, but I haven't actually used this one yet. I'm really keen to try it. I just love the packaging. It is a little bit harder to open just because the opening for it is just like right at the tip down here, so there's not a lot of room to work with, but it is cute. And I tried to pick up a color that I was pretty sure I was gonna love, It's a little darker now that I look at it. On the computer it looked a little bit lighter coral, but this is in the shade Let's Dance. So yeah, I am curious to see what it's like. Alright, I think that's all the face products I picked up. So I'm going to move over to eyes. Eyes is a large category, I'm not going to lie, because I feel like Colourpop are really known for their eyeshadow palettes. So I did get a couple eyeshadow palettes to try out. So I picked up 4 quads. One of them I'm not sure I'm actually going to use, because I'm not going to lie, I picked it up more for sentimental reasons and the colors don't really suit me anyways, but let's just see how we go. So first palette is, so I'm going to go with the astrology signs. So I picked up this one. This is the Scorpio palette. I really love this color story for some reason, even though it's probably still a little bit more colorful than what I'm used to. I will say, I find it really strange that the corners of these are so sharp. I feel like I'm going to hurt myself every time I hold these palettes. Like I'm sure if I held it in incorrectly or something, I would end up cutting my fingers. I have no idea why I feel that way, but I picked this one up. The next one, which is the one I wasn't sure I'm going to use, is the Sagittarius palette. So it's looking a little bit more neutral on camera, but in person it's quite a bit more reddish. And I picked this up because I'm a Sagittarius, so sentimental, that's what I mean. And it's just not a color story I would use, but I kind of like the idea that it's like my star sign as well. Especially when I was a teenager in my early 20s, I was like huge into astrology. Now, not so much. I still find it interesting, obviously, but I don't believe in any of it. I just find it fascinating that somebody has come up with like a whole, like, if you think about it, there's so many things in the world. Everything we know is like either researched or created by other humans, and some of the things are just so extensive. I'm like, wow, that is amazing, like how humans have developed such comprehensive stuff. So astrology sits in that bucket for me. No offense if you believe in astrology, that's just my personal opinion. But because I have that sort of all emotional tie to astrology, when I see things that are like Sagittarius related, I'm like, oh, I want to pick it up and keep it, and just memories. The last little quad I picked up is called Dare to Bear. And so you can tell this is like a pure functional palette for me. It is all matte shades and it is cool tone neutrals. It is basically my go-to colors of life all the time. So I'm really curious to know how this would work, especially when I go back to work. I'm definitely going to be using this palette a lot. It's just, I look at this, like every time I see palettes that look like this, total sucker for them. Like I constantly buy palettes like this that are similar to this, because these are just the colors I'm completely drawn to. So really, really looking forward to using this. So now moving on to the 9-ped palettes. I got 2 of these. One is called Blush Crush. And I kind of love how pinky but still neutral these colors are. I don't tend to use a lot of color. Pink is definitely one that I'm not as comfortable with. So this is kind of like a stretch out of my comfort zone, but still encouraging me to use some color. I feel like these are very violet-esque colors. So I'm looking forward to this. I've also heard really good reviews. I mean, part of the reason all of these I picked up because some YouTuber, some influencer has raved about it, and I was a sucker and I believed them. Whether it's true or not, we will find out. But yes, Blush Crush was the first one I picked up. And then the other one is going to be no surprise given what I just said about Dare to Bear. It's this one here. Like cool tone neutrals, can't go wrong with these. But a little bit more variety if you want to have a bit more of a nighttime look. I feel like Dare to Bear is like a really good daytime, maybe the deepening color would be good for nighttime, but honestly I feel like it's a good work color. I feel like it's a really good work palette. Whereas this one, I feel like you could use the top shades and the matte shades for work, but the shimmery shades are really good if you want to like amp it up a little bit for the evening. So I thought this would be a really good palette. This is probably something I would personally travel with because it covers all my bases. And when I travel, I don't tend to want to be too avant-garde. So I'm really keen to try this one out as well. And now for the mega palette that I picked up. I'm not usually a fan of picking up huge palettes because I find them more difficult to use on a day-to-day basis, especially difficult to store in my makeup drawer, so I have to make an extra effort to get it out or leave it on my table, which is usually how I end up using bigger palettes. I just leave them on my desk. But it's this one here. It is Getting Fresh. So it is still kind of neutral, these are all older palettes, so I'm sure if you're in the makeup field, you've probably seen these before, but you can see there's a lot of neutral shades in here, but there's lots of pops of green everywhere as well. And I think that's kind of what I was looking for, just something that was still neutral but had some color to it. I have seen reviews of people saying they're a bit disappointed by the lack of, say, pink shades, because there's really only one pink, and it's kind of true if you look at it. I feel like the palette probably could have been a bit more creative, but like the boring side of me is kind of happy that there's a lot of soft matte shades. There's a lot of light matte shades, because I tend to always go through the light matte shades first, so I prefer that there just be more of them in a palette so that they don't get used up, and then the palette feels like I have to use this plus something else, like I can still keep using the palette exclusively. So again, another big palette, and honestly I feel like I have enough eyeshadow to last me a lifetime, multiple lifetimes, let's just be honest here. Okay, so now I'm going to move on to what I would consider Colourpop, like quintessential Colourpop product, and is their Super Shock eyeshadow. So I picked up 6, which is excessive, like it's just so many. There's just so many of them, and I think one of them is part of a collection because the packaging is like yellow, whereas most of it is usually white. I don't even know how to hold them all up because there's just so many of them. Let me see if I can. I don't know. Hopefully I'll show swatches of all of these so you'll be able to get a good idea. But you can kind of see I've mostly gotten a lot of, say, lighter neutral shades because that's the sort of person I am. This one's a little bit darker, but for the most part they're quite light neutral. And they're very like all over the lids wearable, which is what I was looking for. So when we moved into this house, I did a massive makeup declutter and I threw away almost my entire Super Shock eyeshadow collection because they had dried out. And I know you can save them, and some of them I ended up saving, but some of for some reason I bought a lot of matte ones. So the matte ones are the ones I ended up throwing out because I knew I wouldn't want to use them anymore. And I just thought that it would take a lot of work to try and rehydrate them and use them and they not be the best quality when I could just pick up a regular eyeshadow palette with matte colors that I knew I could use straight off the bat. So in my mind, I thought I would only use these if they were just a quick all over the lid shade, which is usually something shimmery anyways. I feel like they look the best, the shimmery ones look the best, or I was going to use them as like a topper just to kind of enhance my look. So that's kind of why I went for a lot of light ones. So I picked up 3rd Street, Mighty Morphin, which I think this one is part of a limited edition collection, Frog, Ladybird, Ladybug, and 2014. So yeah, these ones are all popular ones that I saw on Instagram. And sometimes you scroll on Instagram, you look for the Super Shock Shadow tag, and you'll see people you'll see the same colors kind of keep coming up again and again. So that's what I was looking for, the ones that seem to be reoccurring in people's collections. I just picked these ones out, and I'm really excited to start using them. Still on the topic of eyes, I picked up this set. These gel liners, like an entire set of them. I was tempted to pick up all the colorful ones as well, but let's be honest, I wouldn't use them. I still have some colorful eyeliners. I threw away most of them because I wasn't going to use them. I'd used them previously when I was doing like Book of Fable look, but I don't know when I'm going to go back to doing those, if I ever will. So I don't really need a lot of colorful ones. Maybe an occasional one here and there, but not a whole set. So when I saw that this was kind of a more neutral set of gel liners, and I don't have that many gel liners anymore. Again, as I said, I decluttered like a ton of makeup because I've had them for so long. I've been blogging for over 10 years now. So there's a lot of old makeup I had to get rid of. Things that were expired, just didn't perform very well. I will be honest, I am not very good at following the use by date. I will usually go by scent or texture or that sort of thing to see if a product is still good, unless it's like a mascara or lip gloss, because those ones I can't really tell. And the smell's always kind of lip gloss. I don't know, I feel like that's just like a little tub of bacteria, and mascara, because it's so close to my eye and I'm really good about only opening and using and then opening new ones. I don't tend to open like 10 in one go. So I tend to throw those out pretty fast. But otherwise, most other things I will keep until they go bad. And yeah, a lot of my gel liners did go bad. So I have tried these. I'm not wearing any right now, but I did experiment with them and I really love this formula. It is so creamy, just so creamy. The problem is most of my eyeliner tends to be liquid or potted gel, so I can use the brush. However, these are going to be really good for like a more casual look. I know that when I'm not filming, when I'm just around the house, or I'm just going to run groceries and I still want to wear makeup, because I wear makeup most days, it's really weird. Now that I'm on mat leave, I tend to wear makeup every single day because it gives my day a little bit of structure. I think I mentioned that earlier. So, but when I'm at work, I mean, when I was working from home, I wouldn't wear it every day, even though I probably needed to because people would be seeing my face every day. Now, honestly, it's just Tobias and my baby that sees me every day. So probably don't need to wear makeup, but it just makes me feel really good. It's like more of a mental thing than a vanity thing now. And I love just using gel liners just for my lash line, just to smudge it out, just give it a basic, basic definition for the eye without having that winged look. So these are really good. I actually really recommend them. I am very tempted to go back for the colorful ones, even though I just said at the start that I don't need them because I wouldn't use them. But there's such good quality, and the price point at Colourpop feels like you can justify spending on products that you may not want to use every single day. Like if I'm going to buy something from Chanel or Dior, I want it to be a product that I know I'm going to get good use out of because it's so expensive. But for Colourpop, I feel like you can be a little bit more like, say, you can ease up a little bit on that sort of thinking. All right, so that's everything for eyeliner. I'm moving over to my mascara now. So I picked up one tube of mascara, which I'm not going to use straight away because I still have quite a few mascaras that are still in use. But this is the volumizing mascara. I think it was the BFF volumizing mascara. And I got the lengthening mascara from the mystery box, which I still haven't actually used yet. I don't really want to use any of these mascaras until I finished up the ones in rotation. So I'm really keen to try this out. I'm keen to try the lengthening one as well, and see what they're like. Then moving over to brows, I have actually used some of these ones. So this is a brow pencil. This is in soft black. And this is the one I'm currently using now on my eyebrows, although it kind of looks, this is a little patchy now that I look at it. I really love this. I always have an issue finding, I generally have an issue finding brow products that match in terms of color. I usually have to stick to like a very strict number of brands that cater towards my color range because my eyebrows are not brown, they're black. I'm always looking for brow products that are black, that cater to that sort of, even if it's gray tone. Like I know Can make a really nice brow pencil which is more gray, dark gray, but that still suits and blends in better with my brows than say a deep brown. So this soft black blends in really, really well. I can't even tell, like it's perfect. So I'm definitely going to keep this on my radar of repurchasing. I need to work out which one is just generally more attainable, but I know I have the Mecca one, Anastasia, Beverly Hill, and Benefit. I think those are the three so far that I cycle through. And now I've got this. Oh, and Kate. Kate's a really good one. Can Make I would use occasionally, but because it's such a light gray and it's quite hard, I don't feel like it's perfect. I don't feel like it's something I would wear regularly. It takes a little bit of getting used to. But yeah, I should probably do like a whole video on brow products because I feel like I'm very passionate about the fact that it's hard to find black brow products that aren't just like a black eyeliner, which obviously would make you look really, really angry. The other products I picked up was this clear waxing style, which I also tried to use, but I think I used it poorly. I think you're supposed to spray a lot more like Studio Fix Plus or something on it to make it usable. I don't think I did that, so I don't feel like you can really see the benefits of it. And then I got a clear brow gel, which can't go wrong with clear brow gel, but I won't use that yet until I've finished up the ones that are currently in rotation because like mascara, clear brow gels do tend to get gunky and dry up pretty fast. Though I'm less worried about them going bad because it's like my brows as opposed to my actual direct eyes. Alright, I feel like I've been talking forever, but we are finally down to the last couple of products. We are down to lips. So first lip products are these three lippy sticks. They're all quite neutral, to be honest. I'm actually wearing Oh Snap right now, and I quite like it. For some reason, it looks much more pinky here, but then on application, it's much more nude. Either way, I love all these three colors, and generally I think I do have a couple of these already in my collection. These are just really good. They're very pigmented, they're quite moisturizing, they're easy to wear, They're retractable. The way they're shaped is much smaller. Like the bullet is not like a traditional lipstick, so it is sharper, and so I feel like it's a lot easier to shape it around your lips. So highly recommend those. Last three products I actually have not tried before, so I don't know if they're any good, but I have heard good things about them. This first one is from the Glowing Lip range, and it is in the shade Cockatoo. This one gets recommended a lot. Not this shade, but the Glowing Lip seems to get recommended a lot, so I'm keen to try that. The other one is the Blotted Lip. I don't really know what the difference is, except the Glowing Lip looks more moisturizing and shiny, whereas this one looks a little bit more matte. I got this in the shade Talker. And then the last one is a lip oil. So I've noticed lip oils seem to be this like new trendy thing that a lot of brands are starting to get into. I feel like every year or so, every 1 to 2 years, there seems to be this like new thing that really captivates the industry, and everyone starts making products in that line. And I feel like lip oil might be the latest one, or maybe I'm just really late to the train and this has been around for a long time. So I got this in the shade Rain Check. And I'm really keen to try it because I've not actually tried a lip oil before. That is pretty much it. I feel like this was such an extensive haul, and I feel so excited to get to try and play with all these products. But yes, I hope you guys enjoy the video. I will link all the products down below in case you are interested. Thank you so much for watching. This is Celina reporting from my room. Back to you, internet.